What up, everybody? Everybody. What's up, everybody? What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the What's Up, Everybody podcast here with my co-host and brother, Sweet T in the house. How you doing, dude?
I'm doing all right, man.
I gotta say, that is a quality stash.
Yeah, I know. I mean, what'd you expect otherwise?
I mean, earlier on this week, you went from a beard
Yeah.
to a Fu
yeah.
Manchu, and now you just cropped it, and now you just got the
stash.
the stash.
Yeah.
You have the scruffy beard to go along with it, like
Well,
you're
I'm trying
just
to grow. I'm
the
trying to
movie
grow it back.
Knight Rider.
I immediately regretted my decision as soon as I made the first cut.
Really,
I was
the
like,
Fu
this is
Manchu or
not gonna be good.
the beard.
Just all of my choices at that moment in time, I just immediately regretted them, and I was like, man.
Well, one of our fans actually sent me an Instagram clip of different cuts that you could do.
Yeah.
You haven't seen it? Did you see it?
No, I didn't. See it.
Okay, and it is where they shave their head, but they have literally a ring going around their head. I saw one. It's like a ring. It goes up like this, and it goes to the front of their head, and that's all there is. Just that ring.
Yeah.
You could pull that off. I mean, you're a hairy guy, not the hairiest, but you got more hair than I will ever have.
Yeah,
on your body.
I definitely have more testosterone coursing through my veins than you do. That's for sure.
Okay, I could
That's
probably
undeniable.
see that. I could see that. I mean, your stash is super thick.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't shaved my stash since 2014-ish.
Really? Do you use any product to help grow this thing? I mean, give me some tips, man.
No, dude. I basically just eat raw animal flesh.
Carnivore diet?
Yeah, but like I don't cook anything.
Oh,
It's just
okay.
raw. Like I see it, I kill it, I eat it.
Well, you might want to take some, detoxifying something to get, you probably have a parasite or two, if that's the case.
Actually, no.
No?
They're terrified of my intestines.
Okay.
They don't live inside of me.
I wouldn't either.
Yeah.
I mean, just from the smell, I can smell it right now. It's terrible. Terrible.
Smell
Your
what?
butt stinks.
Oh, got you. Well, that's just, you're not used to the smell of man. You're more used to kind of like.
You're thinking of something right now. You're trying to think of something right now.
Yeah, I'm trying to keep it G for the listeners.
Yeah. But, sometimes you got to go, you got to tell the truth, Tony. You got to tell the truth. And how I am with the truth. I'm okay. I'm okay with it. It's okay.
I was just going to say more like, along the lines of you're more, probably have the output of like a high school teenager.
I figured that would be kind of high at that point. I mean, a high school kid, your testosterone is pretty high.
But yours never actually increased in height.
To that level, like it never got
you
there?
You never had the proper chemical output.
Okay. All right.
But it's all right, man. You're a UFC
The only thing I can do is
fan.
take that and, and keep rolling. Take that information and do what I can with it.
Just keep living your life.
Yeah, that's all I can do. But great weekend. Good weekend.
We did.
Everything's been going good, Sweet T. How's the family?
Always great. Always a blast.
Good.
You're about to interrupt me. You didn't even let me finish my question. See, that's the thing with WB. And Chris is the same way. Chris Weidman is the same way.
I can't help it.
It's super annoying. They'll ask you a question or they'll say something that elicits a response from you. And before you even finish the response, they're trying to say their next thing.
I can't help
you
it,
asked
man.
me a question. Let me finish it.
My brain is nonstop
Let me
going.
do the thing that you requested of me before you request another thing of me.
See, what it is I feel like if I don't get it out right then and there, I will forget what I was going to say.
Then it's not that important. Then it shouldn't be said. It's not meant to have been expressed.
All right.
If you forget it in 3.5 seconds, then you don't need to say it.
That's the way my brain works. So, if you can tell, I'm trying to get stuff out. Like, my brain's going. But if you look at Tony, you can see that he's more of a calm vibe.
I'm trying to think about the words here. He's just like, blah, 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 blah. Whatever he's got to do.
You got to keep up, sweetie. You got to be fast, okay? Got to be fast.
So what were you going to interrupt me with? What was the next thing?
The XMMA. We had some.
See, that we were already going to get to that. That's
That was
already
what I was
a
going to go
talking
say.
point.
Sorry, dude. Don't get angry.
Just go ahead.
Okay.
What were you going to say about it?
Anyway, we had a big card come to Simpsonville, Greenville, South Carolina.
Yep.
This weekend. A lot of UFC vets on the card. Lots, like most
80% UFC vets.
Yeah,
fought on this card.
MMA came into town. They actually fought at the same arena the UFC came to and fought at, the Bonsecourt Wellness Arena. It seats about what, 15,000?
Something along those lines. You know, it's up there in terms of attendance, in terms of capacity, and it's also the first arena where you had your first MMA fight ever.
First MMA had 3 fights there, but first MMA fight that was there. It was packed house, but we had 2 of our guys fighting on the card. This current card, not your first fight ever card. But we're gonna talk about that too. We got some now UFC fighters and Bellator guys on that card. It was crazy. Fight Party was the promotion back then. You had OSP. You had.
So now we're back to your first MMA fight.
Yeah.
See what I'm saying? Like you're like.
Well, we brought it up.
1,
I'm
2,
just
3.
You know
what I mean?
Let me finish. So on that card, OSP, you had the Diego
on which
and Douglas
card? The
Lima.
first MMA card or the
one
latest one?
We were talking about.
We're talking about both.
Okay, we're talking about both right now. So my first fight, you had a bunch of UFC guys and Bellator guys on there. Both Diego and Douglas Lima, OSP was on the card, myself. But this card this past weekend, who'd they have?
The main event was Ben Sanders versus Ramsey Najim, who were both former UFC guys. You had John Dodson was actually scheduled to compete on the card, but I heard he had to pull out because he got in a car accident. I'm not sure what happened after that. Hopefully all is well. But John Dodson was supposed to be on it. Kyle Bochniak fought Marcus Brimage on this card.
Wow.
Kyle Bochniak was in the UFC like last year.
Yeah.
Just scrapping with dudes. And then, of course, Marcus Brimage, everybody remembers him because that was Conor McGregor's debut fight in the UFC when he made a statement versus Marcus Brimage. You had
Justin Scoggins was supposed to be on the card.
Scoggins was supposed to fight on the card.
Yeah.
His guy tested positive for COVID, so that fight didn't happen. You had who else? There was a couple more former UFC guys on there. Cody Gibson, I think, was on there.
Yeah.
I think that was his name, former UFC guy.
I'm not good with the names. You're much better at that. So is that it? I mean, it was like.
Yeah, I think so.
There's a ton of them.
It was crazy the amount of vets that were on there, and I'm forgetting them. That's how many were on there.
But it was good exposure for our guys, I think, and our guys just
I hope they can keep it going.
Dominated.
Yeah,
both first round finishes.
Well.
My man, Hollywood, John Sweeney knocked his guy out. 30 seconds in the first round.
33 seconds
had a tough
with a crisp left to right hand. It was awesome.
And then you had Weston Wilson. Does Weston even have Weston Wilson is like a superhero name anyway, but does he have a fight name? I don't think he does.
I think his is White Lightning.
You just made that up. Weston Wilson finished his guy with a rear naked choke in the first round. So good exposure for our guys. You know what I mean? They're at the point now where they're like, trying to work their way up. They're right there at that next level, getting into the UFC, man.
They're on the cusp. Sweeney,
happen.
I think, is 8-3 now. Weston, I think, is 13-6, maybe something around. He's been fighting forever. But they're still both young guys. Yeah. Weston's in his early 30s,
and Sweeney's in his early 20s, I think. Early
mid 20s.
Yeah. So they both. I mean, pitch black look amazing out there today.
Yeah.
That past Saturday. So it was awesome, guys. Shout out to Sweeney. Shout out to Weston Wilson. Excellent work.
Shout out to XMMA for putting on the show. Hopefully they can keep it going. It's hard to be a new organization in this MMA landscape.
Yeah, difficult.
Unless you're established, like Ring of Combat's been around for forever, but especially locally in the southeastern region, nothing has stuck.
No, you had a lot of things come through here and just didn't stick, like you said, and some of them you thought were kind of right there because they were paying fighters well.
A lot of big hopes.
Yeah.
A lot of like you said,
man, because they had a little bit of a backing when it come to the money wise, but then it just didn't fall through. Just nothing really stuck. They just kind of left. And then this organization, XMMA, came up with like, dang, man, there's like a ton of UFC fighters on this card. So hopefully they can come back and stick with it. And not really sure the ins and outs of XMMA and how they make their money. I think it was only
their second card.
Oh, is it really?
Yeah.
Second card. How they get all of these guys?
XMMA too. I know, that's what I'm saying.
And, sometimes you see a lot of these guys come up, and you know how it is coming up in the MMA scene, you know, about getting paid and not getting paid, and you know what I mean? Paying Jeff.
You're making like
Jeff to pay.
robbing Peter to pay Paul.
Yeah. Is that what it's called?
Yeah.
Robbing Peter to pay Paul?
Not paying Jeff. not paying Jeff to pay Steve. Is that what you're going to say?
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's how it goes.
Yeah.
But no, anyways, what were you saying?
No, that was it. You know, hopefully these guys got their money, and this organization can keep moving forward and make it big. You know, get a lot of these guys back into the UFC because these guys are still trying.
That's one of the reasons the UFC is criticized a lot, because you have these promotions, these regional events where, like you said, you're going out there and you're fighting. You're going through a full training camp. You're doing everything that you need to do in order to make this fight, and you're making maybe $500, maybe $1,000 if you win, maybe like $3,000 if it's like a top-notch organization. And then the UFC comes calling, they're like, "Yeah, we'll pay you $10,000." You're like, "Dude,
yeah,
$10,000, absolutely, deal done." Then you sign the contract. But in reality, and you can attest to this, like it's
not a whole lot when it comes down to it, because a camp is expensive. Going through camp is expensive. Bringing fighters in, you know, the meal planning, the paying your coaches, if you have a management, paying them, the money goes pretty fast.
It does.
So you got to be at the top tier to be okay. You know what I mean? And even then, I feel like you should be getting paid more.
Yeah.
So
it's like you go back to the boxing. You go back to Jake Paul, when he fights a dude, it generates a lot of hype for sure. But so do the UFC events.
Oh, 100%.
So does, you know what I'm saying? And the amount of money that's being made versus the amount of money that's being dished out. It's like now you have NCAA paying their college athletes because the NCAA is making so much money off of these athletes, and now they're making the payments. It's like you can get paid a little bit more, I feel like.
Yeah, I concur. I agree. But, moving on from that.
Yeah, because when I'm,
Oh,
you know what I mean? Speaking of UFC and fights, but needless to say, you're grateful for what you're making.
Yeah,
could always make
grateful.
more.
Yeah, I am
like
grateful.
10, 13 times more, but you're grateful.
It's funny because when I go out there and fight, or I go through camp, I'm not thinking about the money. I'm really not thinking about the money. I'm thinking about, beating this guy, going out there and making everybody happy. And like I said, the money's just a bonus for me when I'm fighting. When I'm not in camp, when I don't have a fight, I look back and you see how people are getting. And it's like that comes to thought. It comes to the top of your head about what you're getting paid. But still, that's not that's not why I fight.
At least when you're in the fight mode.
Yeah.
It's not money oriented.
Right.
Because at the end of the day, like, that can only motivate you so much.
So more money?
Yeah, to be the best fighter as possible. Because you can fall into the rut of, well, as long as I get paid, if I'm making this much, I just need to go out there and do this, that, whatever. But if you have an ulterior motivation, like just being the best in the world or perfecting your craft or whatever it is, that tends to motivate you a little bit farther than just a monetary, like, okay, I'm going to go ahead and make this much money, call it a day, I'll see you later.
Yeah, exactly. I don't think with people that kind of attitude, they don't go far.
Yeah.
So, but anyway, speaking of UFC, like you said, we got some good fights coming up.
Well, before that, we had, and I'm going to ask you about this. We had Sean Strickland taking on Uriah Hall this past weekend. So that fight happened.
Right. His last fight was Uriah Hall.
Yep. And Uriah broke the curse because he didn't break his leg, fortunately.
No, hopefully it stopped.
So, hopefully the curse was ended there. But Sean Strickland looked amazing.
Domination.
Not
just standing either. He was taking him down.
Yeah, it was the final scorecards, if I remember correctly, were like 50-44.
God.
50-44 and then like 49-46. So I don't know how you go from two 50-44s to a 49-46. But with that being said, the 44 indicates a 10-8 round in there.
Right.
The judges gave him. So it was just absolute domination by Sean Strickland.
Yeah, Sean Strickland, obviously, he's got great boxing, good power. He's a very powerful guy, but he outstruck a striker, especially somebody at a high level as Uriah Hall. Mm-hmm. Now, I don't know if, Uriah Hall was getting winded. Was he trying to save his energy out there? I don't know, but Sean Strickland was just going at him nonstop. It was nonstop.
Mm-hmm. Just heavy pressure.
Yeah.
See, Uriah Hall typically likes to, for the most part, rely on that flashy move, that flashy spin back kick, or that powerful moment in time. Kind of similar to like a Yoel Romero. He uses it in a different way, obviously. But he does have a tendency to kind of wait a lot. He's never really like a gritty, like, 1, 2, 3, 4 combination guy. You know
so
what I mean?
If you stay away from, if you can see or just
negate
that flashy technique, it prevents you from doing that.
Yeah.
You sit back and wait on somebody who relies on that. You know what I mean? Keep them on their heels. It's just a bad day for them.
It can be spectacular for them, or it can be just the exact opposite.
Right. So Sean Strickland, what's next for that guy?
I don't know. He's won 5 straight. He was comeback fighter of the year last year. He made the most of his career before the UFC was at middleweight. Dropped down to welterweight, had a few fights, lost to guys like Kamaru Usman and Elizu Dos Santos, the Brazilian guy who does all the spinning stuff. Actually got spin wheel kick KO'd by him. Then he beat Nordine Talib, and then he fought a catchweight at like 195, and he's been up at 185, back up at 185 ever since, and he's been doing great. So which brings me to my next question, and this is a common question, but just to kind of get your thoughts on it again, would you prefer more weight classes or – right, because you see the success of guys who fight at a low weight class. They don't do too well. Yes. It's not like he was getting crushed, but then they go up and they tend to do better. You see they look healthier, they look more vibrant. Does that have to do with the fact that they're not cutting weight? Does it have to do with maybe the matchups that they're getting up there and it's eventually their luck's going to run out? Or
I think maybe a little bit of combination of both, but I think it's leaning towards the weight cut. A lot of these guys kill themselves. They're not quite big enough to be 185ers, but they're too big to be where they were fighting at. And they're just, when it comes to the weight cut, you lose a lot of water in places you don't want to be losing water from, like your brain. That's the cushion for to protect your brain, which is why some guys, their eyes hurt. They get headaches, they get cramps. Up in their neck area, head area, that's the worst. Right behind, right back here. I get cramps back here. The worst pain ever. It's worst place to get cramps. But, when TJ tried to go down to 125, and I just feel like it's easier to get put away. You don't have that cushion up there. Maybe, I don't know if it has to do with the rehydration or whatever, but I feel like guys get knocked out easier when they cut that, just to have that dramatic weight cut. Mm-hmm. And they're not allowed IVs anymore, so it's difficult to get that water back in your system faster. So I think it could be a combination of both. He looked good at 170 in some fights, but at the same time, it's like he looked so depleted, so sunk down. Mm-hmm. He definitely wasn't the fighter that he is now.
Yeah.
I mean, look at Michael Chiesa. He's a big dude. Mm-hmm. He looks massive. I don't see how he ever made it at 155, and he's doing great at 170.
He is.
So maybe I would say get more weight classes, the better. I could make 175 so easy.
It's that extra 5
easy.
Pounds
that extra 5 pounds is the worst.
But you're in that weird spot though. Like you can't go all the way up to 185.
No, my heaviest is 195.
Yeah,
195. And I know 155ers that walk around over 200. Paul Felder would walk around over 200. Mm-hmm. That's crazy. He fought at 155. I
remember when Khabib was supposed to fight Tony on UFC 209 on your and Woodley's card, he came in like 200 pounds.
Golly.
That was what he missed weight. He was in the hospital. They said that. I think maybe Dad told me, but he remember hearing on the back end that Khabib showed up at like 200 pounds. Because whenever you show up during fight week, you're supposed to be within, 15 pounds of your fight weight?
Well, then you didn't have to. Now you do. Now you got to. They checked that.
So he showed up at like 200 pounds, and they were like, there's no way you're making 155.
Yeah, he had to go. He tried. He tried, but he had to go to the hospital.
Yeah.
And that was like, what, number 4 times they were supposed to fight? And that was the 4th time they were supposed to fight?
I don't know. I think it was actually like 2nd or 3rd. You and Woodley fought a long time ago. UFC 209. What? UFC 209, and they're about to fight UFC 265. Almost 60 shows ago, you fought Woodley.
Lord
60 not shows, 60 like big events.
And my first fight was UFC 143.
Yeah, dude, 122 shows ago.
Oh, that's wild. That's not including the fight nights.
That's what I'm saying. 122 big events, not to mention the fight nights every dang week.
Dang, time flies, man. Flies by. But, yeah, man, he looked good. He looked really good. What's next for him? I know I saw something recently, I think it was today, that he said he would be happy if he killed somebody in the cage.
Or got killed.
Or got killed in the cage. What?
Yeah. What? He was saying some questionable stuff in his post-fight interview.
Yeah.
You know, talking about meth labs and whatnot. You know,
in his after-fight interview?
Yeah. He said if it wasn't for the UFC, he'd be making meth in a house somewhere or something. Maybe. I don't know. I don't know the guy's personal life.
Matt Brown story.
But, yeah. You can obviously tell that he's excited about the UFC and being where he's at, and he's super thankful. Maybe a little too thankful.
I'm ready to kill somebody in the cage.
Yeah. Questionable.
Or be killed. I don't know.
I know about all that now.
Yeah, I can't. I'm not going to. That's not coming out of my mouth. I love the UFC, but, you know, I'm not wanting to die out there.
Yeah.
You know? I got a long life to live.
Speaking of dying in the cage, this one guy, every time he fights, you never know because the dude is just an animal. They just announced Michael Chandler versus Justin Gaethje. Thoughts go.
Oh, man.
You were going to say something super confidently, and then you just like, not.
I've met Chandler before, a good guy, but Gaethje's got the pressure. He's got the toughness. He can swing for the fences for 5 rounds and put you away. And he's just tough, and he always brings it, you know. He brings it. Watching Chandler's last fight, almost knocking Oliveira, but then getting knocked out and not be able to recover from that. I don't know, man. Is it one of those things where those guys, you know, like a Ben Askren coming over from wherever he came from and just not doing well? Because...
Oh, yeah, that was another UFC guy. Sorry, another guy. Will Brooks fought on this card, which was crazy. That brought it because he was the Bellator champ.
Will Brooks.
Left, came over to the UFC, won his first fight, lost like his next 4 in a row, and immediately got cut. So that's what brought that up. Yeah, he fought on the XMMA. He won. But anyways, continue.
I always think it's rougher for the other person when I see Gaethje on a card. It's going to be tough, man. I mean, the guy's in the greatest shape ever. I look at his Instagram. The guy's always cutting backflips, throwing medicine balls, doing push-ups, and, you know, having time for his kids at the same time.
Yeah. That's all it is, him doing crazy workouts and his family. So that's pretty cool.
It is pretty cool. But I don't know. That's going to be tough. I believe that Chandler is more technical than Gaethje. Gaethje's one of those guys
probably got more power, too, you would think.
Yeah.
Chandler's got more power.
But both good strikers and good wrestlers. They're both kind of like the same. I believe Gaethje takes more shots to the dome piece than most.
Yeah.
But and Chandler hits you, he's going to put you away. But every time I see a guy fighting Gaethje, I'm like, God, it's going to be a rough night for Chandler.
Yeah, or just rough night for fill in the blank.
Yeah.
Whoever.
So, I don't know. More I think about it, that was my first thought. But now more I think about it, you know, Chandler is the better technician. He is he's got power, he's got good wrestling too. I'm just trying to think who takes more shots to the face. I think Gaethje can take a shot better than Chandler can. So, no, I'm back over at Gaethje. I don't know.
Can't pick MMA. I remember, they asked Oliveira after the fight, I forgot who it was. They asked him a question, but his answer was like, "It's MMA. You can't. I don't make predictions." Basically, because you can't pick. It's
hard. I know.
It's hard. Chandler's got power. He's got wrestling. He's got technicality. Gaethje's got toughness. He's got pressure. He's got durability. Like whoever beats who is going to win the fight.
Yep.
Unless
and when
it's a draw.
That similar and that close in like how they fight. Like their power levels are pretty the same, I would say. Like when it comes to techniques and stuff, it's who's who. I don't know. Whoever shows up.
Yeah, whoever just has the better night that night.
Yeah. So that's going to be a good fight, though. Now is that main event? Are they main event?
I'm not sure.
It's going to be a 3-5. It's going to be a 5-5.
What they're going to do for that?
That's going to be a good fight, though. Solid fight.
Mm-hmm. What are you thinking?
How am I going to roll into this story time?
So here's how you roll into story time.
Yeah, man.
It's story time. So tell it.
All right. Well,
there you go.
I was thinking,
was your official introduction.
I was leaving the karate school the other day. My dad, he left before me, and this story came up because the other day, Dad was like, "Hey man, make sure you lock everything up," and immediately brought back a memory of my dad telling me the same thing at the old school. And at the old school, we used to, me, Evan, you, our buddies would actually stay there till like 11, 12 o'clock at night, just flipping around, just doing fun stuff at the karate school.
And for those of you that don't know, Evan is our other blood brother.
Yeah.
He actually lives out in Dallas. He grew up with us here before he ended up moving out there, but he was with us all the time. He worked at the dojo, took karate, all that good stuff.
Probably one of the funniest guys.
That's who Evan is. Definitely a goofball.
Yeah, super goofball. I think is what Instagram is, Titan MMA still. He fought MMA before I did, actually. But we were probably teenagers or something like that, and Dad told me specifically, he's like, "Hey, because I'm the oldest, don't forget to lock up, don't forget to lock up the school. I would be upset if you forget to lock up the school. Just leaving the front door open out in the middle of downtown Simpsonville.
Somebody's walk
gonna walk up in there,
deal, and peace out."
So we stayed there till like 11, 12 o'clock at night with our buds, just flipping around, doing fun stuff.
We used to always stay there, and it wasn't like sketchy stuff. We would just be doing flips on the crash pad.
Except for that time we ate pizza on top of the karate school.
Playing, yeah, that was maybe another story time. We'd be playing. What was it like? What would we call it? Kickball or wall ball with Matthew Graham, and we'd just be for hours on end. Just running. That was flips, our weekends.
Jumping over the ropes of the ring, cutting flips on the crash pad.
Yeah.
I would still do that, but anyway. So after that, I had a fight coming up, by the way, in like 2 or 3 weeks. Had a fight coming up. I was training hard, blah, blah, blah. I get home, and it was already like probably 1 o'clock at that point, and Dad meets us at the front door, right? I'm like,
I think I remember this story.
Oh, my gosh.
I was a youngin', so I had no blame on me. I was just living the dream watching you guys get beat up.
I was probably early 20s. Evan must have been a senior in high school or something. And I walked to the front door. Dad's right there. He looks pissed. And I guess the police, the Simpsonville police had called Dad because they would make their rounds and they would check the doors, make sure everything was locked. They would just kind of drive through the shopping center and make sure everything's closed. I guess it was, it was open. They call Pops, and
before you even get home. It's like a 15-minute trip from the gym to home, and they have already checked and called Pops before you get home.
You can tell Dad had just woken up out of his sleep and meets at the front door, and he is just laying into me, just yelling at me, "Man, I told you to go to the front door, blah, blah, blah." He's getting in my face. And Evan's over here right next to me, just like trying to hold back his laugh, right? He's trying not to laugh. It was great. So knowing that I had a fight coming up, my dad, you could tell he was looking at something to hit, right? He couldn't hit me because I had a fight coming up. And the closest thing to my dad was Evan. And my dad specifically told me to lock the place up. I'm the oldest. Evan over here is trying not to laugh. And so Dad's looking in between us, like, looks at Evan and just smokes him. Just slaps him in the face. And Evan's like, "Oh, what was that for, man?" And I couldn't help it. I bust out laughing. Like, I start laughing, and then my dad, at the same time, realized what he did. Didn't slap me. He slapped Evan because Evan did absolutely nothing. Me and Dad just start cracking up laughing, right? And Evan's over there just pissed because he started out laughing at me, just trying to hold it back. Dad gets upset and just slaps him. He had to get his frustration out on somebody, but just smokes Evan. That, my friends, is why you should always have siblings. That's why. That's the best thing about having siblings, because of that reason right there. Parent can take it out on one or the other. If it's not you, can take it out on one of your brothers and sisters. Mm-hmm. And at that point, it was Evan.
Or if you had siblings, you can get blamed.
Yeah.
You all can get blamed for what one sibling did. Case in point, the donut debacle of 97.
The donut debacle of 97.
Which to this day, has that ever been figured out?
It was Lindsay. It was Lindsay. My older sister.
100% sure Lindsay, who was our oldest sister, will deny that it was her.
Nope.
And she'll say it was you all day.
It was LNDSEY.
Yeah,
LNDSEY. It was Lindsay. Lindsay freaking Machado, my older sister, the oldest of all, the first fighter of the family was my sister Lindsay. And of course, there was 5 of us in the household. Should I tell the story? I got to tell it now.
Yeah.
Dad had Mom just bought this massive bag of powdered white donuts.
Delicious.
The best donuts, the best thing ever made.
Mm-hmm.
I
Arguably.
think.
Debatable, but it's up there.
A massive bag. We all go home. Parents drop us off. We're doing homework and stuff, blah, 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 blah. Fast forward, Mom and Dad get home. Half the donuts are gone.
Bag destroyed.
And it was at the point where, you got it. My parents are trying to find out who the perpetrator was, and obviously us kids are denying it, tooth and nail denying. I was denying. Ev was denying. Lindsay was denying. Meg was denying it. You were young, so you just got away with everything. Mm-hmm. And for some reason, everybody just decided to blame me. I remember Megan coming up to me and just grabbing me, because one of the things was, in order to get the truth out of somebody, if the person who did it didn't come forward, we were all getting whooped. Everybody was getting whooped.
I remember this, dude.
We were like all getting whooped.
Rotation station.
Until
whippings.
Until the thinking was brothers and sisters getting whooped. I feel bad. I'm just going to come out and say it was me. Nope. Nobody. That wasn't the case. Nobody wanted the whooping. Nobody wanted to fess up, because if you fessed up, you were going to get it even worse. So,
especially at that point,
I took it for the team. I said that I did it. I took the punishment. You're welcome, Lindsay. And I really didn't do it. I remember afterwards going to Mom, I was like, I really didn't do it. Afterwards,
I just took it for the team. Was looking at you. She was like,
just tell him it was you. She was grabbing me like this. She's like, Steven, just tell him it was you. I was like, okay, I did it. I sacrificed my backside for my siblings, for Lindsay.
Plot twist. It was me. No,
I was about to say, what?
No, dude.
Oh my God. It was Lindsay. Gary, I know 100%.
Literally, there was a line. Y'all were in a line. And you would take a step forward, get like 2 spankings, and go to the back. You go,
pop, pop.
And y'all would
Next,
just rolling
through. Did you
do
it? Like, nope. Whack, whack. I remember you would get whooped until somebody fessed up. So
that's how we did it in our household.
Yeah, man. That's how we roll, baby. But, that was crazy. But, yeah, Evan gets slapped, and I took I think that was, I don't know. I took the punishment for that one.
You get punished a lot. You did a lot of dumb stuff.
I literally got a whooping all the time.
Yeah, it's not far off to think that you ate the donuts and lied about it just because of of who you were as a child. You would literally, you're one of those kids where Dad would be like, "Hey, Steven, make sure you put your bicycle away after you get done riding it," and then the end of the day rolls up and you'd be at Dad. Standing in front of Dad, and Dad would be looking behind you, and he can clearly see the bicycle not put away, and be like, Steven, did you put the bike away? You'd be like, yes, sir. I did. I put it away. So, Steven, did you put it away? I did. No, you didn't put it away. You'd just be lying, even though the truth was already known. So, not questionable to think that.
Yeah, the decisions I made back then was just stupid. Mm-hmm. I remember one time, I told Dad, I was like, I don't want to get a spanking tonight. Can I get it? Can I have it tomorrow? And Dad hit me with this. He goes, Steven, you can get 15 licks today. No,
was 15.
He said you can get 8 licks today or 15 licks tomorrow. And guess what I chose?
Dude. Neither. No.
I chose the 15 licks tomorrow because I just didn't want to get whooped tonight. You know what I mean? But I tell you what, I deserved it. I deserved every bit of those butt whoopings.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And maybe the man I am today.
Made you the NMF. Because of all, that's why no other person can be the NMF, because they never got whipped as much as Steven did.
Exactly.
It was every day.
Something.
I got spanked 3 times in my whole life.
Yeah, I hated you for that for the longest.
Mainly because you 4, Lindsay, you, Evan, Megan, really just laid out. You set the bar low for me. Like, there was not much that I did in life that you guys hadn't already done, and they were just kind of like.
And I think at that point in time, mom and dad were just fed up with it. Like, all right, dude, like, you know. When it got to you, they were just like older. They
were just exhausted.
Exhausted of just punishing kids.
Just give him what he wants, please.
Yeah. Don't shut him up.
So you had a few stories in that story time.
Yeah, man, it was a big story time.
Like a story time chime.
Yeah.
Like dee.
Well, guys, if you have numerous kids, that's the way to get the. You know, I don't think they were as bad as it, but that's a good method of getting the truth out of somebody. Obviously, it didn't work for us. Just beat them all. Obviously, it didn't work for us. But one of them will take the blame. One of them. Even if it wasn't the person doing it, one of them will take the blame.
Mm-hmm. You'll get your confession.
Yeah, you'll get your confession, even if it was from the guilty one or not.
You'll get some.
Yeah, we got some great parenting methods, like techniques that were done on us that we can give out. We should have our own parenting channel.
You can only really tell by the experiences and you know, of life and everything. And I said we turned out pretty awesome people. So.
Yeah, we came out okay. Came out okay.
I just made sure to do what y'all
didn't do,
or to not do what y'all did do, and I was
to the extent that we did it.
Yeah,
yeah.
You were great. The dream, getting everything I wanted.
Dude, shut up, Ron. Don't even.
It's true, man.
You did. You got the Evo when it came out. Remember the Fast and Furious 2? You got the Evo.
Yeah.
That was his first car. A Mitsubishi Evo,
that was largely
4-cylinder turbo, all-wheel drive rally car.
It was sick.
Then,
legit.
You know, he got a Lexus IS.
All right, chill. Okay, bro. I was the favorite. I got awesome stuff.
The GTR. I'm like, what the?
Chill.
Okay.
I get it.
All right.
Moving on from story time, closing out. UFC 265 is coming up this weekend. Got a few fights to really harp on. The whole card is stacked.
Yeah.
It's a great card. I was just checking it out and seeing who all was on it. But we're going to start with a clash in the welterweight bout. We got Chiesa, ranked number 5, right behind you, taking on number 6, Vicente Luque. Now, obviously, Luque has been on a tear. He's been crushing dudes since he fought you.
Yeah.
Knocking dudes out, beat Woodley, beat Nico Price, just looking really solid. I think there was another fight in there, maybe Randy Brown. I can't remember.
But doing work, man.
But so is Chiesa. He's on a 4-fight win streak. His last win was against Neil Magny, who obviously is super durable, super tough, and he's a force to be reckoned with. Wasn't the most exciting fight, but he got the W in the way he needed to get the W.
Right.
Thoughts? Go.
Okay. For instance, you know, for me, fighting Vicente Luque, having that experience, Chiesa is in for a tough night because you're not putting that guy away. I don't see Chiesa knocking him out unless he goes up there and soccer punts this guy's head. That's about it.
I don't know if that'll probably break his foot.
Right. The only way I see Chiesa winning is, you know, what he normally does. Get him down on the ground, maybe try and smother him, try and submit him, control him on the ground.
It is a 3-round fight.
Yeah.
So he's not going to have all the time in the world to try and exhaust Luque out.
Right. And Vicente's got a tank. He can go. But his best friend is one of the top jiu-jitsu practitioners who I just fought, Gilbert Burns. And so you know his jiu-jitsu and grappling is going to be on point for this fight.
It's a little bit easier. I don't want to say that. I was going to say it seems like it's easier to find people to help prepare you for wrestling and jiu-jitsu than it is to find people to prepare you for really good striking.
Yeah. I mean, it really depends on what the grappler is going to go out there and do. I mean, if they're going to go out there and just hold you, I mean, how are you going to prepare for that?
Yeah, just don't get held.
Yeah,
Boom.
That's hard. Just don't get taken down and get held.
Yeah, well, should have thought of that, dude.
Should have taken my own else. But it's hard, you know. But I believe that Luque has got what it takes to pull out the win. I'm going for Luque.
Got a few more options. He's got good takedown defense. He himself has jiu-jitsu skills, and his striking and durability are just second to none.
Yeah, I believe he's the shorter of the two, maybe. I think Chiesa might be a little bit taller, but Chiesa's not known for his striking ability, and he has been submitted. It was Anthony Pettis submitted him, so I think it's leaning towards my man Vicente Luque.
So say Luque wins, who's he fight Gilbert next?
Yeah,
they've already said like we're not fighting each other. The UFC will be like, well, I mean, no, you are.
Yeah.
Like, you're going to fight each other.
I mean, I've already fought him once.
Mm-hmm.
Do we do it again? Like, how does that work?
Yeah.
You know, I mean.
Do you fight if Chiesa wins.
Do I fight Chiesa?
Chiesa, I feel like, I don't know, dude.
Yeah.
I don't know how it's going to work since you already beat Luque. But
it's weird. It's going to be, see how it plays out. It'll be very interesting.
But you're taking Luque in that one.
I'm taking Luque.
You got next co-main event. You have Jose Aldo returning after his stellar performance, which I believe was when you fought Jeff Neal, right?
Neal.
Was that his last fight?
I believe
he
so.
Looked really good against Marlon Vera.
Sharp.
Taking on Pedro Munoz down at 135.
I'm going for Aldo. He's a vet. I'm a vet. Going for the vet. Let's go Aldo.
At this point in time, though, Munoz is pretty veteran-like, but Aldo's the more vetish.
I think so, too. And has accomplished more, I believe.
Mm-hmm. Oh, definitely.
100%.
He was the guy until McGregor.
Yeah.
He was the most
Until he got put away that one punch. Beep, beep.
Dang, dude, it was nuts. Okay, so that was an easy one.
That's what I'm going. Aldo, yeah. Mm-hmm. Going for Aldo.
And the main event, we have Derek Lewis taking on Cyril Gane for the interim heavyweight title.
Now you got, the brawler, the big heavy maker. He's literally kind of like the big country of today.
Mm-hmm. The modern day big country.
Everybody knows he's got just heavy hands. He's got that right hand that just puts people to sleep.
He's got
but for
jokes
some
for
reason,
days.
I love his Instagram, bro. He cracks me up. But everybody knows what he's got, but he always hits people with it. Yeah. Always hits people with it. Now, you're fighting a guy with high-level striking, and his IQ when it comes to the fight game, especially the striking game, is just at another level. I'm going for Gane. I think he's got too much. I think you'll see everything coming. I think his timing, his technique, his fight IQ when it comes to the stand-up level, I think is going to be better than Lewis. And he's got good submissions as well, so he could take the fight to the ground. It's going to be a banger. I think it's going to be a banger.
Mm-hmm.
I think Gane is faster.
Okay.
Cleaner techniques. I think he's just got too much experience with a kickboxing game.
Gotcha.
So I'm going for Gane. What about you? Who you got?
I think Gane can stay on the outside, pick him apart.
That's one thing about Gane. You don't really see him knock a whole lot of people out, even though he's a big guy.
Yeah, he is a different type of fighter for heavyweight. He's more of a point fighter guy. I'm not saying he's a point fighter. He's only trying to outpoint you, but he has the technicality to be like a crisp striker where he can just pop, just tag you, stick and move. He's not only looking for that KO shot. So
right.
I think Gane can win it, but I'm pulling for Derek 100% all the way. I'm pulling for D-Lou.
Yeah.
To get that double U just because he's.
I like him.
Yeah,
I like Derek Lewis. I saw something the other day. He was like at my fight, actually. He was there, but he was in a room with like all these celebrities, and all he cared about was how good the food was. He had like Justin Bieber right there. You had like just, Jake Paul. You had everybody in this room, and he looks at the camera, like his buddy's like swiping through, and he gets on Derek. He's like, man, this food's good. But like he didn't even care about the celebrities. He wanted the food.
Yeah. At the end of the day, it's that nourishment. That's what it's about. Nourishment, dude. But without going into too much detail with that, we're going to drop a Technique Tuesday on the breakdown of this fight, Lewis versus Gane. That's dropping tomorrow, so make sure you guys head back here, 3 p.m. Eastern tomorrow. Check that video out, or you could just ring the notification bell so you don't miss the upload.
Come on, guys.
Uploads. We're dropping a couple more videos this week that we think you guys are really going to enjoy. So make sure you guys hit that subscribe button. Ring the notification bell so that you do not miss the uploads. And if you're not a big YouTube person and you're just strictly looking for that audio, this podcast is also on Spotify and Apple Podcasts.
Yes.
So head over there and check us out there as well. WB, any last words?
Guys, if you haven't hit that subscribe button, a lot of you guys are viewing this, but we don't see the subscription. If you're a hardcore follower, hardcore fan of me and Sweet Tea, and just the MMA world, period, subscribe to this channel, guys. We got some really cool stuff for you. We love you, and we'll catch you later. Sweet Tea, did you have a good time?
Had a great time.
Stash is looking good, man. High five.
Thanks, man.
Peace.
See you tomorrow.